First things first, how's your face?
Yeah, my face is doing great actually. I didn't have any pain, if I can put it like that, wearing that mask. It was more just precaution, maybe getting a knock again, seeing that it only happened a couple of weeks prior to that. So it was just precaution. My face is feeling great.
I saw the others. I think there was one other player who sort of like put it on in sympathy.
Yeah, no, so she actually also fractured her nose in the Canada game. She was just lucky enough not to play with it, where I had to play with it. So, yeah.
Did they give you a lot of stick about it?
No, not necessarily. My family at the game, they actually made masks to wear in support of me wearing a mask, so that was quite interesting. But the team kind of laughed at it for the first 2 days, and then it became like a normal thing, which I was grateful for.
I see. And look, I mean, talk us through how you ended up in England.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to in South Africa, we're still at that weird stage in women's rugby where it's one thing to even play, and it's quite another to play overseas. Just talk us through that.
Yeah, so obviously I joined the Springbok Women's team and we went to WXV. That's when on the I think it was actually the Italy game that we played, Coach Lee came to me and he said, we've got an opportunity for you to go play at Harlequins. Not the best, money. I'm not guaranteed playing, so it's like I'm going on a whim. Spoke a little bit to the people, and at first I was a little bit hesitant because I didn't know how I was going to stay alive, how I was going to afford food and stuff like that. But obviously I spoke to my family and they all said, this opportunity might only come once in a lifetime. It might not ever come again. So take this opportunity. If you need help, we'll help you wherever we can. So I went, didn't play for the first 3 games, and then after that I was like, I have enough of this. And then I showed them what I can do and been starting this thing. So.
And how did you get into rugby?
Into rugby? Well, I stopped playing netball. Just before I stopped playing netball, I decided I needed to do something in its place. I can't just stop playing sport just because. So I started playing touchies at Brackenfell Rugby Club. They just actually that year started their women's team, or they were trying to start their women's team. And their coach approached me and he was like, do you want to come play? And I was like, I don't really know. I haven't really thought about playing rugby ever. So I played touchies, and then it kind of evolved into contact slowly but surely. And then after that first hit, I was like, I'm gonna like it here, so I stayed.
I was about to say, like one of the things I read about you is that you don't mind a bit of contact.
No, I don't. Look, I come from a non-contact sport, being netball, and it's far from it not being non-contact. You do get a lot of contact. The only thing is you can't dish out what you've taken. Or on the rugby field, like if you hit me, I can hit you straight back. So I think it's a win-win.
How much Proteas netball did you play?
I think I only had 4 caps.
Against whom? Can you remember every single one?
It was Fiji was my first 2. Then I played New Zealand for 5 minutes. And I think the other one was actually also New Zealand. Yeah. It wasn't bad, but I died a little bit inside.
Sorry, I'm unaware. I'm unaware why you retired. Can you?
It's like I always told myself, once you stop enjoying something, you have to kind of either stop doing it for a while until that love comes back, or you need to find something else to do in its place. And I was kind of at that point there with the netball. Like I went to Commonwealth, got injured, couldn't go. Then just before World Cup, tore my ACL. So it was a lot of things that was going on, and then. Won't get into the politics side of things, but there was a lot of things happening that just didn't sit well with me, and I was kind of over it, and just the tournaments and stuff that was the same over and over and over again, and I wasn't enjoying it anymore. Like it started to feel like a job, and I promised myself that if that happened, I would stop, and so I stopped, found something in its place, and ever since I started playing rugby, it hasn't felt like that one day, actually.
What position did you play?
Goal, tackle, shooter.
And then what kind of work were you involved in? I imagine you probably had to work in that.
No, I actually didn't work. I was a full-time student. So I studied at Corpsey's my first year, took a gap year, and then I went to UWs where I studied. Didn't finish my studies, started playing rugby, and I was like, I'm not going to find time for everything. So I still need to finish a degree. It's only 2 subjects that I need to finish. I'll do that whenever I have an opportunity. And then I did a little bit of au pairing. on the side.
Have you had an opportunity, I mean, given that rugby was almost like a transitional career for you, have you had an opportunity to have people to look up to in rugby, or did you just kind of like get into it and suddenly
You know, I think watching Sevens was probably the most people that I had looking. You would see the Portia Woodmans and the, you know, Stacey Walkers and those type of players, and they were kind of the players that I was looking up to. And then some of my friends from Netball actually started playing Rumandi, she started playing rugby, and then I started watching the 15 side a little bit more. So I wouldn't say there was necessarily like a lot of role models, probably more on the men's side. But it wasn't because I wanted to play rugby or wanted to be like them. It was just like they're really good players, and like the way that they do things is really interesting and something to look up to. And now that I play rugby, it kind of makes sense why I maybe enjoy looking at them playing, or like looking at their standards.
Which men's players, and who do you model yourself on?
Well, I can't really model myself to him, but it's Steven Kitsoff. I think he's a really good prop. He did a really good job, and like obviously now that he's injured, like he keeps on promoting the game in different ways. And then I would probably say Eben Etspin, Arge, just because they play the same position. Arge has amazing handling skills. I think anybody would aspire to be them, or him rather. And then Eben, I think, being also a line-out caller in the same position as myself, like I can watch his games and just see how much confidence he has going into match days, which I can relate to sometimes.
So he hasn't asked a question yet.
No, it's okay. That was just one. You, this group of players, you know, you guys are founding. The founding members of what could be a rugby dynasty for South African rugby women. You know. In this point in time, what is the most important thing that you guys have to get right to inspire the next generation of players?
I think if we do what we are supposed to do really, really well, not depending on the outcome, like win or lose, I think if we put so much heart and soul into the way that we play and the way that we portray ourselves and the message we want to put out there, I think that in itself speaks a lot. Obviously, you can't just accept to go into a World Cup and be like, oh, we're going to walk away with a medal and a trophy or whatever. So I think it's keeping ourselves close to earth, but then also putting in the hard work and like grinding on the backside.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a good day.